Is the dopamine detox really the key to a happier, more focused life as some claim it to be? This question has become increasingly relevant as the concept of dopamine detox gains traction in our society. With its roots in modern self-help culture, this trend promises a renewed sense of clarity, focus, and contentment. But what is it really, and why has it garnered such attention? At its core, the dopamine detox is a method that encourages individuals to abstain from activities that trigger surges of dopamine, a neurotransmitter often referred to as the reward chemical. These activities range from using social media and watching TV to consuming caffeine and sugar. By doing so, proponents argue, our brains will reset, leading to an enhanced ability to concentrate and find pleasure in simple tasks. The appeal of the dopamine detox stems from its seeming simplicity. In an age where many of us feel overwhelmed by the constant bombardment of information and stimuli, the idea of a mental reset is undeniably attractive. Furthermore, the concept taps into our collective desire for quick fixes and easy solutions to complex problems. To fully understand the dopamine detox, we must first grasp the role of dopamine in the human brain. Dopamine is a type of neurotransmitter, a chemical that transmits signals in the brain and other vital areas. Often associated with pleasure, this neurotransmitter actually plays a crucial role in our motivation and reward systems. When we engage in an activity that we find enjoyable or rewarding, our brains release dopamine, reinforcing the desire to repeat the behavior. In essence, the dopamine detox suggests that by limiting these dopamine hits, we can rewire our brains to be more focused and satisfied. It's a compelling narrative, one that is spread across social media and self-help circles like wildfire. But what does science have to say about this trending detox? Let's dive into the evidence. Dopamine. It's not just about pleasure and rewards. This is a phrase you've likely heard in the context of the dopamine detox trend. But what if we told you there's more to this neurotransmitter than meets the eye? Dopamine is a complex character in the play of your brain, and it's time we pull back the curtain and reveal its true role. Dopamine, in essence, is a chemical messenger. It's involved in numerous brain functions, from regulating movement to controlling our brain's reward and pleasure centers. However, it's a common misconception that dopamine is solely responsible for pleasure. That's like saying the sun is only responsible for daytime. Sure, it's a big part of it, but there's so much more going on. Scientific studies have highlighted the multifaceted nature of dopamine. For instance, a study published in the journal Nature Neuroscience found that dopamine is also involved in pain processing and aversive learning. This shows that its role isn't limited to just the good times, but it also helps us navigate the not-so-good times. Another interesting aspect of dopamine is how our brain adjusts its levels naturally. If you've ever wondered why your favorite song doesn't give you the same goosebumps after the 100th listen, that's your brain adjusting its dopamine response. This mechanism, known as dopamine downregulation, helps us adapt to stimuli and maintain a stable internal environment. Even more fascinating is the role of dopamine in cognitive functions. Research from the Journal of Neuroscience suggests that dopamine plays a key role in memory and learning. It helps us form associations and remember important information, making it a crucial player in our cognitive toolkit. So, you see, dopamine isn't just the feel-good neurotransmitter. It's involved in a variety of brain functions, from learning and memory to regulating our responses to pleasure and pain. It's an essential cog in the intricate machinery of our brain, and without it, our mental processes would be severely compromised. Dopamine's role goes beyond mere euphoria. It's a crucial part of our brain's functioning. So before you jump on the dopamine detox bandwagon, remember that this complex neurotransmitter is not just about pleasure. It's a key player in the grand scheme of things. Can you really detox from dopamine? And more importantly, should you? Let's delve into the scientific evidence that contradicts the concept of dopamine detox. Dopamine, as we've established, is a neurotransmitter, a chemical messenger in the brain that plays several vital roles in our bodies. It's involved in how we feel pleasure, but it's also crucial for memory, mood, and voluntary movement. The idea of a dopamine detox suggests that by cutting off all sources of pleasure or stimulation, we can reset our brain's reward system, thus making everyday life more enjoyable. But here's where things get tricky. Reducing dopamine levels isn't as simple or as beneficial as it sounds. Think of it like this. If dopamine is like the fuel that powers your car, a dopamine detox is like trying to clean your car by draining all the fuel. Sure, it might remove some impurities, but it also leaves you stranded without the means to move. Decreased dopamine levels are linked to several health issues. For example, Parkinson's disease, a neurodegenerative disorder, is caused by a loss of dopamine-producing cells. Symptoms include tremors, slow movements, and difficulty walking. Depression, too, is often associated with lower levels of dopamine. While it's not as simple as saying low dopamine equals depression, there's a significant body of evidence that suggests a strong link between the two. Moreover, the human brain isn't a machine that can be simply reset at the push of a button. It's a complex, dynamic system that constantly adapts and changes. An oversimplistic approach like a dopamine detox overlooks this complexity and can potentially do more harm than good. Lastly, it's worth noting that the dopamine detox trend often lacks a solid scientific basis. Most of the information out there is anecdotal, based on personal experiences rather than rigorous scientific research. So, to wrap up, while the idea of a dopamine detox might sound appealing, it's crucial to understand the science behind it. As it turns out, a dopamine detox might not be as beneficial as it's made out to be. If not a detox, then what? How can we healthily manage our dopamine levels? Now that's a question worth exploring. Let's dive into some healthier, scientifically backed methods to manage our dopamine levels. First up, regular exercise. It's no secret that physical activity does wonders for our body, but did you know it can also stimulate the release of dopamine? That's right, when we engage in physical activity, our brain rewards us with a hit of this feel-good hormone, leading to what is often described as a runner's high. So, whether it's a brisk walk, a morning jog, or a high-intensity workout, moving your body can help regulate your dopamine levels naturally. Next, we turn our attention to a balanced diet. Just like any well-oiled machine, our body needs the right fuel to function optimally. Consuming a diet rich in lean proteins, fruits, vegetables, and whole grains can provide the essential nutrients our body needs to produce dopamine. Foods high in tyrosine, a type of amino acid, can particularly help in this regard. Tyrosine-rich foods include almonds, bananas, avocados, eggs, beans, fish, and chicken. Good sleep is another crucial factor. When we sleep, our brain goes into a sort of reset mode, clearing out the day's mental clutter and preparing us for the next day. It's during this time that our dopamine receptors rejuvenate, making us more responsive to this hormone when we wake up. So, ensuring you get 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night can greatly aid in maintaining healthy dopamine levels. Lastly, let's talk about stress management. Chronic stress can deplete our dopamine stores, leaving us feeling unmotivated and lethargic. Techniques such as meditation, deep breathing, and yoga can help manage stress levels, promoting a more balanced dopamine response. These methods not only keep our dopamine levels in check, but also contribute to our overall well-being. So instead of jumping on the dopamine detox bandwagon, why not incorporate these science-backed habits into your lifestyle? Your brain and your body will thank you. So, is the dopamine detox trend worth the hype? Let's circle back to the key points we've discussed. The concept of dopamine detox, a trend that has swept the wellness world, is built on the notion that by taking a break from dopamine-inducing activities, we can reset our brain's reward system and enhance our overall well-being. It's a compelling narrative, but does it hold up under scientific scrutiny? As we've seen, dopamine is a complex neurotransmitter, playing a critical role in not just pleasure and reward, but also in memory, attention, and mood regulation. Simplifying it down to a feel-good chemical that we can detox from is an oversimplification that fails to acknowledge its multifaceted role in our brain's functioning. Moreover, the idea of detoxing from dopamine is fundamentally flawed. The brain is not a machine that can be switched off and on at will. Its intricate network of neurons and neurotransmitters is in a constant state of flux, adapting and responding to our environment and experiences. Trying to reset this complex system by abstaining from dopamine-releasing activities is not only ineffective, but could potentially be harmful. The scientific consensus is clear. There is no quick fix for enhancing brain health or improving mental well-being. Instead, it's about adopting a balanced lifestyle that includes regular physical activity, a healthy diet, adequate sleep, and meaningful social interactions. These are the proven ways to optimize our brain function and mental health, not dopamine detoxes. It's important to be critical of wellness trends that promise quick and easy solutions to complex health issues. While they may be enticing, they often lack a solid scientific foundation and can lead to unnecessary stress and anxiety. So in conclusion, the dopamine detox trend may be enticing due to its simplicity and promise of quick results. However, when scrutinized under the lens of science, it quickly loses its luster. Rather than jumping on the latest wellness bandwagon, let's focus on implementing evidence-based strategies for enhancing our brain health and well-being. Remember, when it comes to brain health, it's always best to trust science over trends.